I know you guys are very busy, and then time differences kind of get in the way. But you guys are solid here. We appreciate it. So I'd like to start all of these off by just having you guys introduce yourself as a team. So what everybody here does for the team, and kind of just explain your background a little bit.
Okay, you don't want to wait for more people to roll in. Is this it?
So I was explaining, it is a Friday night here, so a lot of the times people like to listen to the recording. We just like to record this live. A lot of the times people will, most of our users will watch this recorded.
Okay.
So, and a lot of people will say, oh, hey, they have an office hours, we'll jump in. So
Right.
We'll probably get more people as we go. So if that's okay with you.
That's cool. No problem.
Awesome.
So, I guess I'll go first. I'm Vince. I work with my company is called Octas, OCTAS.jp. You can look us up on the internet. But basically, we're working with the Voxvot team to bring their project to the world. And just real quick on my background, I've been working in the anime industry for about 15 years. I started out with Crunchyroll. And I was the president. I was a president and founder of Crunchyroll Japan, and I was with the company for about 9 years. If some people on the call might remember, Crunchyroll was a pirate site, but I was the guy on the ground who converted Crunchyroll. Well, convinced the industry to basically work with us, even though we were a pirate site. So I was on the ground helping to convert Crunchyroll from a pirate site to a legal site, and then I was with the company for about almost 9 years, and I was doing all the licensing and acquisition and producing. So I don't know, during my career at Crunchyroll, I probably licensed over 1,000 anime shows. I don't know, I have to do the numbers, but it's a lot of episodes and a lot of seasons of anime. We would license like 40 to 50 anime a season. So in that role, I got really familiar with the anime industry. So I know a lot of people in the anime industry. And so after I left Crunchyroll, I wanted to kind of do some more stuff in the space. And so I started a company called Octas. And we're representing brands. Like one of the big brands we represent is Gloomy Bear. You might know it. And then we're also producing some anime, and then we also work with Voxvot. Voxvot was introduced to me through some other people in the industry. And I said, sure, I haven't done anything in the Web 3.0 space. So I've been working with the Voxvot team, along with my guys, Nana and Manny. We've been working really closely with the Voxvot team. We have weekly calls, and we're trying to help to spread the word about our project to the world. So that's that's a kind of a long introduction, but that gives you the background and lets you know what we're doing from the Octas side. Now, next, I guess we can introduce the Japan team. Do you have any questions, or you want to move to the next introductions? Ryan.
Yeah, we can go to the next person.
Okay, cool. All right, next up, I guess, is the guy closest to the camera right now. 自己紹介ください。英語で。Ryoは英語。
Okay, hello, I'm Ryo, project manager of Voxvot, and Takeshita-san. He is a programmer of smart contract blockchain. Voxvot is a EVM Ethereum project, so he is making smart contract. And he's a 3D designer, and he used Unity and Maya and ZBrush. Yes, and he making 3D assets. And
here comes our creator.
He's Oka Pro, main artist director of Voxvot. He make Voxvot like this. This Voxvot is VR ちょっと判定してるのは VR7 he makes manga, and this is main character.
Perfect.
Is famous in Gampura industry. So Japanese Gampura fans, many Japanese Gampura fans know Okapro. こんな感じですかね。
はい、それでいいですよ。ありがとうございます。Thank you. Did you get all that?
Yeah, no, I think so. It's a big team that they're working with over there in Japan.
Yeah, so that's our little. They're in the little studio there in Tokyo right now. Yeah.
Awesome, and we have some more people on the call, right? Is that right?
Yeah. Nana and Manny, go ahead.
So I guess that's kind of hard to follow up with Vince and the Japan team. As you can tell, they're extremely stacked with their resume. But I guess I'm pretty much the person that just interacts on Twitter. I'm also the person that is interacting with the tickets and stuff like that. I just pretty much, I'm for the most part the admin and trying to look through the entire space and check out different projects that are currently minting or have minted, and sort of try to get ideas that have worked in the past and sort of implement them in a way where it benefits Voxvot the most. And I try to keep as much of the community alive and, together, just as well as with Nana. And yeah, I mean, like I said,
Communities are the top. Star of the community. Okay. Nana?
Yeah, he is with 3. Sorry. Yeah. Hi, I work with Vince, and I do operations for Octus, and I work with him on forming the Web3 division for Octus and trying to get in line with his vision. So Vince's vision is to bring in traditional Japanese artists directly to the world. And we want to really deliver with whatever they want to make, whether it is a passion project or if it's a team project or whatever they want to make, and it's not enforced by an outside party or institutional investors. And that is exactly what we are trying to do with Voxvot, where we're not outsourcing any of the content. We actually want to bring, here's the artist, you can support him directly. And this is what we are going to do. This is our roadmap. This is what we have. Here are our resumes. And, this is a tour of our studio. We are real. You can literally see us working on it. And this is your chance to really get on board and support what we do. And I was totally on board with Vince's vision when he told me about it. So here we are. I worked in conventions and the fashion industry for a couple of years before joining Vince.
I mean, we want to focus on. I mean, in short, our the idea is to bring when I worked in the anime industry has lots and lots of middlemen, and a lot of times the artists don't get to make what they want to make, and so our goal is to do projects that are really directly working with the artists and bringing their creations to the world. And Voxvot is a prime example of what we'd like to do.
Yeah, imagine farm to table, but anime.
anime to screen.
Exactly. We can talk about that stuff a bit more. And I'm, during this AMA, I'm also, because I have a lot of experience in the anime industry, and I know a lot of people probably are of the age where they remember when Crunchyroll was just starting, and you can ask me anything about anime, as well as we'll obviously focus on Voxvot and where we see things moving in the future. Yeah.
I would love
to throw it to you, right?
I would love to save some of those questions there for the end, because one of my favorite things about the Web3 space is like the punk element of it. Like, it's just it's super punk. And one of my favorite things about Crunchyroll early on was that you guys were like punk. It was like super fucking awesome that you guys were doing what you're doing. So I would love to hear that bridge. But I think to do you guys service and the project service, let's get a little bit more into what Voxvot is.
Right.
Can we have a high level maybe explanation of what exactly you guys are trying to achieve here?
So at a really high level, I mean, the ultimate goal, right, the moonshot, is we want to create the next big mecha franchise and bring it to the world. right? So there's lots of them. I mean, I think, Ryan, you're a mecha fan, I think. So, there's lots of mecha over the years in Japan. And I think the most well-known is probably Gundam. But, there's Macross and even Eva is a mecha. There's just lots of them over the years. But this is going to be the first one that's going to be, built up through Web 3.0 and with the community interacting as we move it along. But that's the goal, right? Is to create. That's the the moonshot, right? Is to create a mecha franchise, and that means you have anime, maybe live action, manga, toys, merchandise, games, everything, right? Of course, you can't do that all at once, so we have to do it. We have to do that incrementally. And as Nana was kind of pointing out, if you go to the website, you can see our kind of phase 1 roadmap, which includes creating the mecha and then creating a story around the mecha, so a manga, and then we even start to move into gaming in the first round of our kind of roadmap. So this is a great time for Oka Pro to actually show us. If you want to see it, do you want to see it, or do you have questions? You lead though, Ryan. But we can show and tell, and we can explain how he designed it and where it comes from and all that stuff, if you like.
As much as I think my questions are important as a moderator, I think showing people the project is way more important. So let's get into that, and then I can break down some questions.
So the number one thing we can show you is the actual mecha, right? So people can see on the website, the digital version of it, and that's 2D right now. We also have this mecha, digitally rigged up in 3D as well. So we can move into the next phases as well. But I think the first thing we'll have Tomisaka-san and Oka Pro show you the actual Voxvot mecha, which they've already basically designed, and it's ready to go into production. Mecha, この間みたいにVoxvot の紹介してください、見せながら。で、元々のね、細いやつがあったじゃないですか。そこの、オリジンストーリー、なんでこういう風に作ってきたっていうのは、それを説明しながらやればいいかなと思うんですけど。Okay, so we're going to have Oka Pro show. So he actually designed this, started working on this concept more than 10 years ago. So he's going to show and tell and explain the design of our mecha. And what you're seeing is a 3D printed version of it. And okay, go ahead. どうぞ。
Okay, 青川さんもっと近くに持ってるの。今 B さんが訳してくれるんで、日本語で説明すればいい。
簡単に説明してね。I'm gonna be translating because Oka Pro doesn't speak English so much.
Perfectly fine.
10年以上前ぐらいに最初にこういうものをデザインしたんですよね。
So 10 years ago, he designed this mecha.
で、これはもともと見本用に色の見本とかマーキングとかの見本にするために作ったもんで。
Originally, this was just planned. He just planned this kind of basic mecha. To experiment with colors and just design in itself. はい。
で、美術とかでよく使われているポーズ人形みたいなそういうものになればいいなぐらいな感じで、簡素にシンプルに作ったね。
So it's pretty simple design, but it's designed so that it can be very posable. So a posable doll is what he said. That's a direct translation. はい。
はい。で、あんまり使いどころがなかったのでずっとそのままに置いてたんですけど。
So he designed it, but they didn't have any real way to use it at the time, so it kind of just sat on the shelf for a while.
それを今回、NFT をやるにあたってちょっと使ってみようかって話になって。で、NFT にするなら、ちょっと頭が大きかったりとか、いろいろ分かりやすい方がいいだろうっていうことで、デフォルメしてやればいいんじゃないかっていう、それはゲシさんのアイディアなんですけど。
Yeah, so when I decided to create to do. They started talking about like, hey, let's do an NFT, and so they said, oh well, hey, why don't I use this old design that I made that's been sitting on the shelf for like 10 years, but maybe we need to like brush it up for this sort of project. So you can see that the head is much larger, and so it's more easy to understand it, and it's has more expression kind of. I think like Ryan, like the traditional mecha, like Gundam, the head's pretty small compared to the rest of the body. And so we decided to make a like kind of a deformed mecha. And so that's how they came up with the design, and we think it's much more expressive and fun.
So one of the things that kind of reached out about the art.
Oh, 1 second. どうぞ。何？こういうことで
やり直して、
はい。
そうしたのが今のこれっていうことですかね。
わかりました。So then they did a redesign of that original one that he had built 10 years ago, and this is what they came up with. Ryan から質問があります。Please ask your question, Ryan.
Yeah, so one of the things that reached out about the artwork that I was looking at through the Twitter and the website is the larger head of the mech almost reminded me of like a SD Gundam kind of chibi style, but that's not at all what this is, right? This is a full length like style mech, right?
これ見たときにガンダムのチビスタイルみたいな感じがしたんですけど、
はいはい。
どうですかっていう。
そもそもそのロボットこう頭身の高いロボットを縮めて可愛くするっていうのは日本だと結構古くからあって何年ぐらい前ですかね、もう40年以上前からそういうあえて可愛く縮めるっていう文化があるんですね。
So there's culturally speaking, and in the history of mecha, there has been this trend from like maybe 40 years ago where they take the giant mecha and they squish it down and make a chibi, a small size, a small sort of deformed size. It's kind of mecha. Hi, he's not done yet. どうぞ、あとは。
その流れと同じことをしているっていうことですかね。そういう意味。
So yeah, so basically doing sort of the same sort of thing, and you're right on, Ryan.
そうだけどSD なんだけどなんか岡さんデザインなんでかっこいい SD ガンダムだけどクールみたいな感じのを目指してやってるっていう感じですね。
So even though it's like SD and cute, it's also super cool and has a lot of functions. You'll see as we move along, there's lots of different weapons and different characters, and the head changes as well. And not the size, but basically the design, expression. はい。それで？
そうですね。なので可愛くした方がいろいろいいかなっていうなんだけどそのままやってもかっこいい感じにしてるってことですかね。
So it's small and cute, but it's also cool and it's going to have a lot of features, and it's adaptive, and it also is, like you said before, it's a 100% posable doll. Yeah. Okay, cool.
縮めたままそれ自体をもう設定にしちゃってそういういろんなタイプがいてその劇中の中でするっていう感じにしてもいいかなと思ってそうしてみる。
They're small, and then there's, like I said, is a variety that are going to appear throughout the lore, throughout the story of the Voxvots.
はい。
ありがとうございます。Cool. Awesome. Yeah, so that's sort of like an overview of the Voxvots. I hope people can see that. If you weren't able to really see it quite well, please go and check out voxvot.io. You can get more visual references.
Yeah, I love it's very unique to what I've seen, and it reminds me of a lot of different things, but not quite one thing, which I think is important. It feels like a lot of inspirations from different kinds of mech.
Yeah, that's super important. I think I was just in Tokyo. I'm in San Francisco right now, but I was back in Tokyo, and I was asking Oka Pro when he started to become a mecha fan and tell me his influences. That's always a fun to ask him.
Would it be okay to ask him now?
Please, let's ask him. So, Oka Pro はいつからメカが好きになった？それと、この ボックスボットのインスピレーションはどこから来てるんですかっていうのをちょっと説明してください。
はい。いつから、まあ、生まれて
何歳やったっけオカプロは。50。
僕49。
He's 49, so take that into account as he explains his influences. When did you start liking Mecha, Oka Pro? どうぞ。
まあもう生まれた時からもう気づけば好きだったっていうのはありますね。
He doesn't really remember when he started liking Mecha. He liked it from when he was born, pretty much. So whenever he saw Mecha, whenever he doesn't know how old he was, he liked it.
まあ、その映像的な刺激で言えば、そうですね。
まあ、ガンダム。
いや、スター・ウォーズがあって、
1970年ぐらい、73年ぐらい。
とかですね。
はい。
75年、6年ぐらいだったと思うんですけれど、日本ではちょうどその宇宙戦艦ヤマトとかのアニメブームがあったんですよね。で、その流れでスター・ウォーズで刺激を受けて、で、その直後にガンダムですね。
So at the time when he kind of remembers when he really got into it was right around when Star Wars was released. So at the same time, Yamato, what is that manga called, anime called? Yamato something? The 英語のヤマトのあれの名前は忘れちゃったね、英語の。
スペースバトルシップヤマト。
何？
スペースバトルシップ。
The Space Battleship Yamato was an anime that was on TV, basically. That was a big boom for Space Battleship Yamato right around the time when Star Wars was released in theaters. And so the combination of those two kind of really blew him away. And that's when he really started getting into mecha, I guess, in sci-fi. それと
ヤマトがあって、で、その直後にガンダムがあって、で、
and then right after Star Wars, Gundam appeared. Yeah.
で、ガンダムが日本中でこの空前のブームになってですね、プラモデルを並んで買うとかっていうのがまあ社会現象になるんですね。
And then that was like culturally, everybody started getting into 空前のboom. 空前って何? Everybody started getting into building plastic models. With Gundam, right? So Gundam came out and everybody started making Gundam plastic models. That was a huge boom for that, right then.
これ全然後々。で、その後にですね、まあその日本ではそのリアルロボットブームみたいなのがまあアニメで続々とやるようになったんですけど、同時に僕はそのハリウッドの SF 映画に結構ハマって、まあエイリアン2だの。Yeah,
so then there was kind of like Gundam came out, everybody's making the plastic models. Then there was like a real robot boom in Japan. And then like really cool sci-fi movies started coming out, like Alien and Blade Runner. And that super influenced them a ton. Yeah. So did I?
まあそうですね。で、まあロボコップを経て、まあ、今に至るって感じですかね。ずっと。
And then they got like RoboCop and then it just keeps going on from there. Yeah. So I think in short, I mean, the way I explain it, like, Voxvot's sort of an amalgamation of a Japanese mecha designer who's loved it from birth, but then is heavily influenced as well by Western sci-fi. And that's the genesis for, that's I guess that's the genesis for Voxvots. Yeah. From this one artist, Mr. Okapro.
I love that it comes from a fan too. And don't get me wrong.
僕の世代っていうのは、
he said, ファンから出てきてるということは素晴らしいことと、どうぞ。で、Ryan, continue.
Because too many, don't get me wrong, I'm not criticizing any of the Web3 projects that do lean towards anime. I don't feel like enough of them are like true like fans. So it's fun to see that passion from the creator and the artist of these kinds of projects. So I love that. One thing, and this is maybe for a question for you, Vince, and not for the team there, but what obviously we're doing a Web3, and sorry, my dog wants to play fetch while I do this. What's the link between Web3 here and the project? What are you? What's the Web3 element that you guys are trying to pitch here? Obviously, these are going to be NFTs, but I'm curious to know the scope of what the Web3 space. What you guys are bringing to the Web3 space.
Yeah, so we're figuring that out as we go along. I'm a newbie. I'm a total newbie in the Web3 space. I mean, Nana and the other guys aren't. But from my perspective, it's like, well, one thing from my perspective that I see is, to develop any kind of IP, you actually need money, right? And so I saw Web3 as a way to sort of, it's almost like a supercharged Kickstarter that allows interaction with the holders and the supporters of the project. So that really excited me about bringing this project, and I have a few others anime projects that I want to bring into Web3. And so that's sort of like from my perspective, right? How we're going to involve the community is, I think, how is it going to, is that what you're asking? Like, how is it going to be different from? How are we going to involve the holders in the community?
Maybe not as pointed as how are you guys going to be different than everyone else, but I guess kind of, yes, that is what I'm asking. Just not maybe with the vinegar that comes with.
One giant difference is that we just want to build, and we are builders. It's not like we're releasing this NFT and then we're going to build something later, right? Like, we already know. Like, for example, the Voxvot that he's showing you there, that robot, that's already built out. That's a plastic model that the holders are going to be able to buy and put together by themselves and decorate it the same as their digital version. It's actually ready to go into production today. It's like something like 50 or 60 pieces that have already been. It's ready to basically get a mold built and to go into mass production. So that's a really cool thing about us. Like, we're actually building a manga right now, and we already started releasing some chapters. So we're super real. We're super authentic. That's some of the huge difference. Maybe a big difference than other projects.
That's awesome.
Did I sort of answer your question? Maybe Nana can add more.
So we have a very strong foundation within Web2, and that is obvious. And I'm sure, like, as we all know, within the space, if you don't have it perfect within Web3, and kind of like Web3 native people and their projects have perfected this on having everything laid out, like really good tech, and just smart contract is perfect and everything. But the thing that they have not mastered was Web2. And sometimes they're trying to bring in a Web3 IP into Web2, and they have trouble with that. But since we have, you could check our track record and our resume, we have a very strong footing within Web2, and we're trying to incubate the Voxvot IP within Web3. And we're also bringing it into Web2 as well. And I've been speaking to Vince about his vision, where not only will we bring Web2 into Web3, we want to open up that gateway of bringing Web3 into Web2 as well.
Yeah, and one of the things that I think is important also for us is, like, we're very transparent. This is why we want to do this is why I'm Docs. This is why, of course, the Japan team is Docs, and this is why we're showing you all this stuff on video, right? Because we want to show you, we want to pull the curtains back, and you can get a kind of an inside view of what's going on. Yeah.
I was going to say, I'm actually not Docs. This is my coming out. I'm just kidding. No, I have to be. I love that, because again, I feel like, again, not to hark on some of these newer projects, because there's some very successful anime projects out there in the Web3 space, Azuki being one of them. But they started out as a Web3 brand, and they keep saying one of the benefits of our brand is that we'll branch out into Web2 and we'll create this. They don't come from the Web2 space where they say, hey, we already have this infrastructure. We already know the people that do the modeling. We already know the people that do the animes, the manga, and things like that. So I think they positions you guys in a very great kind of place there. So my next question is, what's next? Like, so obviously you guys are showing us this project. I assume you guys are going to be minting soon, or is this something that you guys are kind of just teasing out to communities to kind of build up hype? I'm curious to know like how the rollout's going to be there.
I throw this over to you, Nana or Manny, whoever wants to answer.
Oh yeah, Manny, do you want to take this question, or?
I could follow up on it. I like after you if you want. Either or. Okay. I'm sorry. Can you repeat the question again?
Yeah. What's the rollout look like?
So yeah, like what's the next steps, I guess. So I'm an excited minter. I want to mint this project as soon as possible. I want to get on the whitelist. Whatever you guys are doing. What's what are we doing as the next step?
So following so immediately coming up. So when mint comes, it's one of those things. We have, so I don't know if this has been mentioned, but we do have real IP connections and collaborations. So that will be coming into play during the road. But let's say once we mint, basically we'll start having things rolling out in terms of on the roadmap. So the roadmap is an exact plan on how everything is going to be coming out. So there isn't going to be any surprises. The reason why we also didn't post anything such as like the anime is because the anime takes 2+ years, you know, it takes a long time. And so everything that's posted on the roadmap is meant to be so that it's all the things we can pretty much promise you guys at this very moment. It's like we're not trying to go and reach out and, you know, say we might be able to do this, we might be able to get that. Everything on there has been discussed, has been thought through countless phone calls, just to ensure that everything is planned in such a way that we aren't going to fail our holders and what we've promised you guys, and we'll take it from there. So basically, I don't want to give too much because there are some surprises that will be coming up right after mint, because our entire thing has been to cherish the holders and ensure that the holders are incorporated and also honored in a way that, you know, this is a passion project for Oka Pro, and this is something that we personally want to have the people understand his vision, at the same time understand, you know, the importance of this. And this is like personally just the anime space or the anime world reaching out into Web3.
Okay, so hold on a sec, Manny. I think we're covering a lot of that, but I think the question is how we get on the whitelist.
How do you get on the whitelist?
Yeah,
I thought it was like what follows the list.
Sorry, go ahead.
So basically,
first, I think he's just asking for the next steps. But how we get on the whitelist? How would someone get on the whitelist? Can you explain?
So getting the whitelist, you can get through the Discord through simple conversations. I personally hate grinding. I'm not a fan of, you know, having to go crazy grinding. But let's say Nana and I, or one of the mods, are inside the voice chat, literally just chilling there for a day. If you show like you actually show you are interested in the project, or even just want to be part of the community, at that sense, it's not going to be like a 5-minute type of thing, but it's like one of those things you can tell when someone's being genuine versus someone that's trying to pretend they're genuine to try to gain something. And so that's one way at it. We also have movies, we also have games and things like that are weekly. In addition, I'm very active as well on Twitter, and basically people that are retweeting or even just tagging us or just commenting on our posts, I personally choose some of those people, and I personally have an interaction with them as well. It's not like I say, congratulations, you want a whitelist. I also have conversations with them prior, letting them know like, this is what we have planned. This is some of the things that we're going to be doing. It's very tedious, but at the same time, a lot of those things are very important in my eyes. And so those are the two, I guess, best ways. I don't think there's another way. Yeah, I mean, those are pretty much the two ways. Unless it's like giveaway between the Discords. Other than that, it's just literally Twitter and Discord. But we're not very harsh on, you know, oh, this person doesn't have 3,000 messages, they need 10,000. It's more just, you know, just be present, show like as if you're interested, be a fan.
Did that answer? Yeah.
Yeah, no, I agree, and I appreciate the call out to grinding because people have been in this space forever. Again, I've been counting how many messages I sent in a server. They've been doing all these different things, so I'm glad that you guys aren't like you're looking for like quality over quantity.
Yeah, for sure, man.
Oh, awesome!
I think it helps if you say if you prove to us you're a mecha fan or an anime fan. That's helpful.
Yeah, and some other ways would be like
those are the guys we know are going to stick around because it's going to be really interesting for them.
Yeah. In addition, it's like even interacting inside like the AMA and stuff like that. Like even this AMA, like if just a little hint, if you guys want, if you guys do interact and you guys do ask questions, whether it's towards the Japan team or even Vince and stuff like that, just shoot me a DM or I'll shoot you a DM. I don't know if you guys have your DMs closed, but I'm totally down for that as well. It's like it's one of those things. You guys are showing interest. You guys are here within this AMA, so it's something that we personally appreciate that you're taking the time to also do that. So things like that are also very important. Twitter Spaces, whenever we throw Twitter Spaces, asking questions there as well. Just showing the interest is basically what we're trying to look for. We're trying to look for the people that want to be there, not people that feel like they have to be there.
Understood. So I'm going to get a ton of whitelist spots, is what you're saying. I've asked quite a few questions.
You're for sure, man. For sure. I mean, clearly it's like, I think Ryan, you're all attest to this, like anime or mecha fans, they all like kind of dream of creating something themselves. And so this gives you a chance to really kind of experience the whole process.
Well, that kind of blends into my next question, is because so much of what like mecha anime was about, and Gundam is the prime example, was building. Because I remember being a kid and then being into action figures, and yeah, they made some Gundam action figures later on, but it was all models, right? And I had to build it, and I had to paint it, and I had to make it, and my dad would help me, and things like that. Yeah. And my dad could care less about anime whatsoever, but he's like, yeah, sure, we'll build this model. I used to do this with cars. So I love the building aspect of it, is because, like you said, like anime fan, mecha fans are builders, I think, just instinctively because of Gundam, right? Because Gundam helped us. Exactly. So I love that element of it. Is there any kind of, and I know you've maybe alluded to like changing things, is there any kind of like building element to this? Like,
oh yeah, I mean the first product we're gonna, physical product that we'll release will be the plastic model that you can put together. And actually, Poo-san の作ったやつをちょっと見せてくれる？日本祭 Poo-san が作ったやつ。So I don't know. There's this really famous guy, mecha or like Gunpla builder on YouTube, and he actually built this one. We gave him the whole kit, and then he put it together himself. And there's a really cool video that we can put in the chat, I think, so you can see what it's going to be like. Yeah, so you're going to be able to experience the development of this franchise, of this mecha IP, and in a very tangible and physical way.
If you guys don't do a competition when those models come out of like who can create the best one, I'm gonna be really upset.
Yeah, for sure. We're gonna do that. Yeah,
I'll submit mine with popsicle sticks and the glue or whatever. But I'm looking forward to some really awesome creative people coming through.
The macaroni art.
Yeah, 作る時Voxvot のガンプラ出した時にはやっぱりライアンが言ってるんだけど、やっぱりみんなにコンテストをさせなきゃいけないのよねって。誰が一番かっこいい Voxvot が作れるかっていうのはやっていくのは大事だと考えてます。
we have 3D models, so we can branch 3D model design contest. So
yeah, so that's the other thing I've been pushing on our side is like, yeah, we have the 3D model of the Voxvots already built, rigged, and so we can release it. We're thinking about at some point releasing it to the wild and let people make, use Blender, which I believe is a free software, use Blender and then create like little anime clips with their, decorate the Voxvot and then create little animations. So I think that'll be fun as well. So it'll be different, a little bit different from Gundam. Gundam was always just like physically putting the mecha together. We'll be able to do it digitally as well. We already did one contest where we asked fans to design the 2D version of it, and we got some really good submissions. And so we're thinking, okay, next we got to release the 3D version, and then maybe after that, because a physical model takes some time because I have to do the molding and manufacturing. So that'll be probably the next step after we mint.
Awesome. I feel like that kind of goes into my next question. And I have a really bad habit. I got to learn it because I'm the interviewer here. I say awesome after every question. I really mean it in this case. It's like a tick.
We like it.
But we just got a question from Naruto here in the chat.
Yeah.
By the way, Nana, I love the pun macaroni art. I was dying laughing this entire time internally. But Naruto asked, well, will there be any play to earn? What will the play to earn consist of? And does this project support AR? They thought they saw an image of people with VR goggles on in a YouTube video, and they were curious. So the question's about play to earn and AR.
We'll let Tomisaka answer that, or Ryo will answer that. AR とか
AR とかプレイトゥ
プレイトゥエーンは今後はどう考えてるんですか？
そうね。じゃあまずプレイトゥエーンはちょっと長くなるから先に about AR に関してはそうね。まず我々メタバースVoxvotバースっていうので、その AR っていうよりは VR の方で、考えていますと。
Yeah, so definitely we're thinking about bringing the Voxvots into AR and VR, and we'll be creating a Voxvot metaverse. それとはい、どうぞ。
Okay. もちろんVR のそのゲームというかメタバースを作るっていうことは 3D モデルとかアセットがあるんで簡単に AR の方にもコンバートできますと。
So since we have the 3D assets already built up, it's not very hard to create something in VR, and then you can take that over to AR. Does that make sense? Yeah.
Yes.
Perfect.
Yeah. We have a question about play to earn, Vince.
Yes, I know. We get there. He hasn't gotten there yet.
Okay.
Dozo.
And about play to earn 今このHere's 竹下さんmain program contract looks like lion.
Looks like 何に見える？
Lion 似てるよね。
He looks a bit like a lion, but this programmer over here, Mr. Takeshita, どうぞ、それで。
彼が今プレイトゥアーンゲームを企画してそのスマートコントラクトとかも作ったりしています。
So he's building a plan to create a play to earn game, and he's adapting our smart contract so that it will enable that.
で、of course, プレイトゥアーン、プレイトゥアーンは、プレイトゥアーンっていうか、ゲーミファイはWeb3 の中で非常に重要で、我々はその VVT っていう、Voxvot トークンっていうのを出して、プレイトゥアーンゲームで使えるようにします。
So we know that in Web3, gaming is super important, and so our plan is to release a Voxvot token so that you can earn them by playing, while playing games.
あと今日本ではプレイトゥアーンゲームがたくさん作られていて、でそのセガとかバンダイナムコとかいろんなところがバリデーターとしていろんなチェーンに参加したりしていますと。
So there's a lot of big companies, there's not just big companies, lots of other companies around the Japan market right now, including big giants like Sega and Bandai, are creating play-to-earn games, and we're working to participate in their blockchain. はい。
そして我々
はい。
日本でのそのプレゼンスというか、Voxvot の存在感を高めるためにも、その他のチェーンへのブリッジ、イーサリアムからポリゴンへのチェーンのブリッジや、例えばアバランチだったり、そういった他のチェーンへのでも使えるように今開発しています。
Also developing bridges so that Voxvot can be crossover into like Ethereum and Ethereum 以外なんて言ったっけ？Ethereum じゃなくてPolygon. I'm sorry. Bridge over to Polygon and Avalanche.
Avalanche. So, Plan 2ね。And then Avalanche and token and chain and token.
Did you get all that, Ryan, and everybody, Naruto, who was asking the question?
Yeah,
I try my best to translate, but sometimes I miss stuff. But you heard the key words, I think.
Polygon Arboretum. Also, my ears perked up when I heard Bandai Namco.
Yeah, I mean, they're making a big play in the space, clearly. And then he's saying we're trying to participate in their blockchains somehow. I guess we have lots and lots of connections in Japan, so clearly, because we're part of the industry. So we're talking to everybody right now. And so we have lots of different ways to bring Voxvots into VR and AR, I guess, and into the play to earn space, into multiple metaverses. There's a lot going on in Japan right now. It just has. It's like I always say when I explain how Japan works, things kind of move digitally. There's a lot of preparation goes on, and then when it moves, everybody sort of moves at once. And so we're kind of on the cusp of that right now, I think, for Japan. So I think you're going to see a lot more coming out soon.
Excellent. And I appreciate the sentiments like, hey, we're developing this. You guys aren't pigeonholing yourselves into, hey, this is going to be a game, or hey, this is going to be a manga, or hey, this is going to be an anime. I like the multimedia aspect of it, because I've had so many projects who said, hey, we don't have any financial backing. We're raising money through the mint, and we're hoping we're going to come out with a full-fledged anime in 6 months. And I look at that and I'm like, there's no way.
Like, dude, like every anime, if it's real anime, people don't really realize this, but every anime studio in Japan is completely booked out for 3 years, at least. Netflix has done deals, I think, that booking out studio lines for 10 years. It's in such high demand. It's you can't, if somebody's telling you they're going to make an anime from an original IP and they don't have an anime studio behind it, yeah, that's not going to happen. I can tell you that, but you can ask me those questions later.
And so that's the realism that I appreciate that you guys are bringing.
Yeah. We're in the middle of it. Actually, the Voxvot team's office, or studio right there, is in a building that used to be a big junior high school, and there's about 30 tiny anime startups inside of that building. And so the Voxvot team is actually working with a bunch of different small companies within the same building that they're in, as well as the wider anime industry. Yeah.
Awesome.
And we have all those connections. Go ahead.
I love that insight too, because again,
Sure.
nobody I've talked to in any of these anime projects knows anything about that. So one thing I think we should do is, I think with this conversation should carry over into an AMA on Twitter Space sometime if you guys are up for it.
I'm happy. Yeah, we should totally do that. And we can talk about, it doesn't have to be just focused. Voxvot is very important for us, and it's our first big project, but it can be focused on the wider anime space and what's going on in Web3.
Yeah, I would love to have like a panel of just like anime projects, or you guys talk to kind of maybe school some people. But I
don't want to cause any controversy.
I don't either. I play host very well. Don't worry. I want to be respectful of their time, because I know it's early in the morning. I want to be respectful of your time, because I know you're in California on a Friday night, right?
Yep. And we don't want to draw it out too long. We have some more stuff we can show, I think, from the Japan office, if you're down for a little more show and tell.
Yeah, I was gonna say I would like to close this out with some awesome stuff to see if they want to show off.
Yeah. ちょっといろいろ見せてくださいよ。漫画とかポスターとか。
携帯でも。ポスター、そうさんポスター。いいよ。はい。ちょっと広げてみせて。
本も持ってきて、そのポスター作った人の本。
ひやきさん。
So we made this is something we're really proud of. Has this been released to the public? I don't really know, Manny. But we're going to show you the poster that we made. We made a movie poster. So there's this guy. 説明して。So we have lots and lots of connections throughout the industry, and so the guy who created our poster,
This writer is Kiroku Higaki. He is a very famous Japanese movie poster maker. He works for Toho Promotion District, and
since like the 1950s. So this guy he's a legend in a movie poster, in creating movie posters in Japan. And he worked for Toho, which is the biggest movie studio in Japan. He actually this artist created all these. It's kind of hard to see. He created all these logos, but he created the original Godzilla logo. And I think he's about 90 years old. He's 90 歳? 何歳?
82.
82 years old. And he agreed to make our movie poster.
And he こうか。見えるかな。He is our なんだろう、Robocop poster for Japan version designer.
Yeah.
ロボコップだったり、あとゴジラよね。
So they made the RoboCop movie poster. Movie posters are super important in Japan. That's the way they're like, you'll see them on the trains and everywhere when they're advertising a new movie. Anyway, this guy created our Voxvot poster. No, Voxvot poster, 見せて. So this is the we'll read.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah. So when Manny kind of alluded to like different collaborations that we have going on, we're able to reach a lot of legends in the industry and a lot of interesting IP that we'll be doing collaborations with moving forward. Yeah, I just wanted to show you guys that.
I love that. And so obviously I'm an anime fan. We've talked about a mech fan as well. I'm also a film student, and so movie posters are like a big thing for me. So I appreciate a good movie poster, man.
Yeah, look this guy up. Say his name again, movie poster designer. Say his name again.
Higaki. Kiroku. Yes.
Higaki. If you look him up, you'll see some articles about him. He's amazing. Yeah, this is his whole book of all the posters he made for like the last 60 years. Yeah. Okay, cool. Yeah. This is what you have to look forward to with Voxvots is like, we're building and we're going to build together and we're going to be very transparent and you're going to see us as we move along, creating the next basically big robot franchise and bring it to the world directly from Japan. Super authentic, super real.
And I love that as a closing statement, even. I was going to say, I always give the projects a last word to kind of end on, and I feel like you're just going to summarize that perfectly.
Yeah. But I want to throw it over to Joy at some point because she's more on the Web3 side. And she wants to give some comments as we go to a close. But Ryan, you have more questions, or are we where we are on this?
I would let's see. I have one question that someone submitted. Then this is related to Web3 stuff too. But my questions are done. You guys have satisfied all my questions. Well, not all of them. I have tons of questions. Again, I think we should sidebar for another conversation. But the person asked, Naruto asked, if you guys have decided on a mid price yet. And I know that's something that comes kind of later on. But curious if that's something that's come up yet.
Naruto, if you join our Discord, you'll be able to see all the details. But Ryan, just to close things off, I just wanted to summarize like exactly what points about our project and what makes us special and different, and what we are trying to do on behalf of our artist Oka Pro and trying to push his passion project. So can I just lay out the points and we can kind of like close out this AMA? I think that would be great.
Sounds great. Yeah, go for it.
Yeah. So Oka Pro, like as you have seen his works and as we have done the show and tell, he is a special kind of artist when we are differentiating our project from others. Our art actually translates from 2D PNG to 3D fully rigged and animated, and also translates into in real life. It takes us very special kind of artists to be able to do that because not only are you an artist, you're an engineer. And when it comes to Mecha and Gundam and Gunpla, it's all in the joints, right? And it takes engineering, mathematics to be able to make it posable and make it move. And we truly believe, like with our art and how it translates within and transcends boundaries, I think that's something special. And that's just my own personal opinion. And I hope you feel the same. But that's one of our points. And another would be we do a lot of everything in-house. There's almost no outsourcing unless we are scaling. And a lot of roadmaps that I have seen from other projects was they're kind of outsourcing, or they're kind of like promising like, oh, we need to reach out to these studios. We need to reach out to these people. We kind of need to bring in an advisor to be able to figure something out. But with our roadmap, with our current roadmap, like there is almost no outsourcing needed. And if we truly need something, like just like how you see in our new logo, and it's designed by the original designer of the Godzilla logo, right? So it's just a simple demonstration of what we can do because we are native to the anime village. And they do bring in favors from other artists, and we are constantly inspired by other artists and each other. And they are part of that ecosystem. It really goes to show everyone that you are directly supporting a Japanese artist within the space. And not only that, we are a completely original IP where certain projects may be like a parody or inspired by something, and they kind of ride on top of like that association for building up their marketing. But Voxvot is a completely original IP, and we're able to collaborate with other well-known brands because there's no conflict of interest.
Awesome.
Awesome. I really appreciate those closing thoughts there. Like I said, I'm really excited for this project specifically. Again, it combines like all of my interests. And again, I think you guys are kind of starting from a spot where a lot of projects can't start from. So that's exciting as well.
Yeah.
So I really appreciate that, but also your all's time. I know we're all located at different places across the world right now. So thank you all so much. Everyone listening live right now, thank you. For everyone that's been listening for this, you made it all the way to the end. Thank you. We really do appreciate it. I'm really looking forward to this project, guys. I can't wait. If you guys want to stay part of this, you need to join their Discord. Do we have a Vanity Discord link that we could share here in the office hours chat to make sure everyone can get access to it?
Yeah, for sure.
Awesome. So again, come to office hours chat. It's about 8:58 p.m. EST. There's going to be the timestamp to be able to find that link. But guys, it's been an honor, honestly, to have a conversation with you. I hope we can have another one some other time. Thank you so much.
We'd love to continue to talk about this stuff. And like I said, like Joy was mentioning, and I mentioned, we do have a vision. We do have plans to bring more of these kind of projects directly, with real artists building real things that are very authentic in the anime and mecha space. We're going to bring it to the world directly, and we want everybody to join us. So I appreciate everyone's time, and thank you very much for listening. And follow us, please.
Yes, thank you so much.
Everyone
we're also on Twitter, octus.jp. You can find us. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you, everybody. Have a great night or morning. Thanks.
Yeah. Ryan, also, real quick, do you think you can send me a friend request really quick?
I don't send friend requests. I'm just kidding. Of course I can.
All right, thank you. Appreciate it. I'd actually like the names for the people that ask the questions as well, if that's possible.
Yeah,
if you have them.
I'll give them to you. Yep.
Oh, thank you so much.
All right, bye,
thanks, Manny. Thanks.
Yeah, of course. Thank you, guys.
Arigatou gozaimasu.
Arigato.
Manny, can you send the link? Yeah.
Yeah, where were you going to send the link though?
In the chat, the office hours chat. I tried to send it. It was
I
pinged in the chat. Yeah.
Awesome.
Bye, everybody.
No worries. Bye, everyone.
Take care.
Thank you.